Hey guys, Andy Rasman giving another reaction video here. I saw this video posted by Victor Griffin. He's the guitarist for the band Place of Skulls. Before the band Place of Skulls, he was in a band called Pentagram. When he was in the band Pentagram, initially he was not a Christian. Then he became a Christian. He formed the band Place of Skulls. Still has that dark, edgy metal name to it. Place of Skulls is what Calvary means in translations, what Golgotha means in translation, the place where Christ was crucified for our sins. So he's naming the band after the place where Jesus was put to death for us. So Place of Skulls, Christian band. Victor Griffin, after being in this band Place of Skulls, gets invited to go back on tour with the band Pentagram. He does it. A lot of Christians go, whoa, bro, you're in a band Pentagram? How can you be a Christian touring in a band in Pentagram? And some of these songs may not be so Christian. And in fact, in some cases, might be very questionable as being against Christianity. So how can you justify doing that and going out on tour on that? So I saw Victor Griffin share this video I'm about to watch. It is Brian Head Welch of Korn and Fieldy of Korn, the band Korn. I don't listen to that band, don't know much about them. Well, I know they were immensely popular in the 90s, early zeros, and I know Brian Head Welch became a Christian first and then left the band. I don't know who Fieldy is. I'm pretty sure Brian's the guitarist. I'm not sure about Fieldy. I doubt he's the singer. Maybe he is. I'm not sure. But apparently Fieldy became a Christian after Brian. They both went back into the band Korn. When Brian became a Christian, he left Korn, goes back in. Brian's explanation of why he went back into the band Korn after being a Christian, in this video, Victor Griffin says is a great explanation of why he went back on tour of Pentagram after being a Christian and after being in this Christian band, Place of Skulls, that he formed. So let's watch this video. I'm very interested to see what they have to say.
To the darkest places of the world, we would applaud you within the church. Oh, isn't that man brave?
Let's start that over.
If you were
All right.
a missionary being sent to the darkest places of the world, we would applaud you within the church. Oh, isn't that man brave? But here you are coming out of the darkest place, meeting Christ, going back to the dark place, and people say, "Oh, how dare you do that? You know, you're gonna draw my son and daughter away." Well, listen, if you're a good parent, you're not going to be encouraging them to necessarily believe the lyrics that right now you're singing. And the story is not done. I don't know if he's going to convert your whole band. I don't even know if that's his plan, okay, at this point in time. God will let you know, and everybody here knows this, and you know it, when it's time for you to step out, you'll step out.
I think I want to give you guys the chance to just speak to this of like, because I know, and you know this, man. You both know that there's probably a lot of people who are like, they still just don't get it. They don't understand like why in the world.
They mock
and
us.
just being in the show, like, it's ain't a Christian show. You know what I mean? So it's like, how just give me your guys' take of like being in Korn. You're sold out for Jesus, but like you're going out on the stage every night, participating in songs that say like "F you." You know what I mean? Like, just talk to me about like why you're still.
Okay, so I do think that would be questionable. Being a band is always saying F you, but you know what? I've thought about this myself. Let's say I pursue acting. What is it okay to be in a play where you say F you? Would some Christian movies actually have a broader audience if they said F you? And by this I mean like the movie Fireproof, for instance. And I'm just riffing here. This is a reaction video. First time I've seen this, what I'm thinking. The movie Fireproof, I remember very clearly a scene where he's fighting with his wife. And if I remember right in the movie, he's not a Christian at this time. And he's fighting with his wife. This is a serious fight. They're like getting divorce status here, okay? And he's mad. He's like, you woman. Like, you woman. Who talks that way? Right? Even Christians duking it out in a fight, maybe saying something besides woman, right? Maybe dropping some swear words. So and that movie definitely had a point in it where it was preaching as if to a non-believer, right? To be converted through the film. So it's just kind of like what most non-believers would probably be turned off by the time they even get to that point because they would listen to the dialogue. No, the dialogue is not real. Stephen King has a book on writing called Writing Well. And something he said in that book on writing well is that your dialogue in writing needs to be real. If your character is Ned Flanders of The Simpsons, you need to be writing the character as Ned Flanders. You would be saying, "Oh gosh, oh golly," right? "Oh jeepers." You need to be like substituting the swear words, right? You'd be saying, "Oh strawberries." Uh, if your character is a sailor, he needs to be swearing up and down in the text. And if you read Stephen King, you can know he does that in his writing. He's the first person I ever read that wrote that way, that had such swearing. And I think it's because he was, well, who's your character, right? So to be real to the character, you may need the swearing. If the character is with their friends, their 16-year-old friends, the character needs to be swearing up and down. The character gets with their parents, all of a sudden tight-lipped, completely different language. So just showing how it evolves, and he doesn't have to explain that, right, in the writing. You just read it, and you pick up, oh, he's with his parents, he's talking different. Oh, he's with his friends, he switches, right? He's with his wife, he's talking one way. He's with his buddy, he's talking a different way. Just very realistic language going on when he's in his professional setting. So being real in our art can be a very good thing, I believe, for Christians to draw people in to pay attention. Now, with music, it's a whole other thing. I don't know why you need to say F you in music unless it's telling a story of some sort, unless it's being real of some sort. And this is, I guess, a very questionable thing. I don't think Christians should say F you. So I'm curious how they're going to answer this, because I would definitely struggle myself in that. Go, how could you be on stage doing that? I could maybe see a play differently, like I was trying to get at with the story of Fireproof. If you had some language like that, it would be like, man, this is real. This is how it is when you really fight it out with your wife, and it gets really intense. And we are sinners, and there is redemption, right? Sometimes you have to show the dirtiness and sin of life in the play in order to make the redemption portion valuable, right? To really show the extent of God's saving grace. I can see that in a play. I can see that in a story. Not sure how it plays out in a band on concert, because it's not usually so much story going on, not so much the redemptive narrative arc. So, very interested in how they're going to respond to this. Let's hear.
Here.
That's our people, man. These are our people. It's a tribe, and Jesus, he doesn't tell people to go into tribes and say, hey, don't use your tribal language anymore because we got to do it this way. This is a tribe of metalheads. They talk like F and that, F and that, F. That's how they are, and we're here in their tribe, in my tribe, with my people, just loving on them, hanging out, rocking out with them, showing them, look, we're Christians. We don't judge you. You know, we're the same. You know, we're just hanging out with them. You know, and I'm just telling you, I had a full on, like, the Lord clearly showed me to go back. You know, to this thing. I had just crazy just experiences with him for 30 days of my house. And then my pastor and 2 pastors and a prophet confirmed to me to come back. So it's just, what do you think?
Well, you told me a story a couple of days ago, and he said he went out and he was watching band Chevelle, and a huge crowd out there, and Head was looking at it, and they're all like, devil horns and all that, and he's like looking at it, and he said he got emotional and like started crying because God touched his heart and said, those are my people. And I was like, wow.
I was like,
all those
watching
people
a
out
metal
there,
band getting like emotional.
And it touched me because like we do Korn concerts in the crowd, and it's like, everybody's like, ah. It's like God's going, those are my people. I was like, wow, we're all his people. We got to go touch them, and how can we do it if we leave?
Hey, interesting response. Those are my people. Certainly, metalheads are a culture, right? I mean, we have different cultures, different groups, and they need to be reached. They are God's people. How do you reach them?
Excited to be here. Rolled out of bed. Just started a tour.
Oh, here he is speaking. All right. Yeah, it's just very, very interesting thought. These are my people. This is, I don't want to leave my people. I want to be with my people. And how can I be with my people and reach them if I'm never with them? Very interesting question. Very, very interesting question. Well, I'm not in that position. I don't know how I would have to respond in that situation. I don't know enough about the band Korn and what their lyrics actually are. I'm not sure what type of conversations they're having with people before or after the shows. Yeah, I don't think I could be on stage doing that sort of thing, dropping FUs and stuff or whatever kind of the bad stuff is in the Korn songs. I know Brian said that when he left the first time, he realized there's stuff in those songs that is completely against God, and he can't be on stage. So I don't know how you can be on stage when stuff is completely against God. With Victor Griffin and Pentagram, a lot of their songs, I can actually see a lot of connections to Christ in the songs. I could see how they could be interpreted in a way that could actually draw a person to question life, question death, question eternity. And knowing that Victor's Christian, see the answer he gives, because it's on YouTube all over the place with Victor Griffin. And maybe if Brian had Welch and Fieldy here, if you watch some of their videos, they have a lot of gospel proclamations and a lot of their videos on YouTube and a lot of interviews. So maybe just being there with their people is like, hey, I'm not judging you. I'm still here for you. And from being here for you, you will find out who I really am and what I really believe from watching me online and stuff. Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe that's what they're thinking. I have no idea. But I don't want to judge him, as Romans 14 tells me. I think for me, it would probably be unclean for me to be on stage in the band Korn. But maybe for him, it's not. It seems as if it's not from his answer there. I'm not in his place. They aren't my people. Obviously everyone's God's people, but this idea of his tribe, that's not my tribe. So maybe I don't get that as much either. Yeah, fun stuff. Romans 14, guys. Read Romans 14. I would say reflect on that before judging other Christians in terms of what they do and do not do. What is unclean for you might be clean for another brother. And I would say the person that something is clean, which is very questionable for other brothers and sisters, be sure however you go about doing it, you're not setting up a stumbling block for others and encouraging them to sin or making them doubt your salvation or someone else's salvation. And if you think something is unclean, but it's another brother, it's clean, and it's not directly commanded or forbidden in Scripture one way or the other, don't judge your brother, as Romans 14 says. And I know what some of you are going to say, and that don't let impure thoughts or words come out of your mouths. Those guys aren't the singers, right? They just play the instruments, and music is neutral, in my opinion. I don't think that's pretty scriptural. I don't think you can say a certain note or certain style of music itself is evil or good. It's the venue and how it's used that makes it good or evil. All right, well, maybe these reaction videos are getting too long. If you think so, leave a comment for me on that. Tell me it's getting too long or not, all right? If they need to be shorter, because I'm watching short videos, and these things are turning into 15 minutes. I have no idea if anyone's actually watching full duration of this or not. I get some averages on stats to see, how much time of each of these videos are actually watched per view. And obviously, you're never going to get the full duration on that sort of thing on the average view. But I don't know. If you got some comments on this, leave them below. I'll read them. May not respond to them all, but I'll read them. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you want to see more of this stuff. Peace in Christ, and God bless you.